I moved from America to Britain, and in doing so, I walked directly into a socialist nightmare so complete, so total that the locals don't even notice it anymore. They just call it Tuesday. Everything an American is warned about, every dark prophecy, every slippery slope, it's all here. And the British are just strolling around through it like it's nothing, getting a meal deal completely unbothered. So for every nervous American, if you're watching this, look away now. Here are 5 things that Britain does every single day that would send a grown man in Ohio jumping into the ocean. Socialism, television tax. Let's start gently here. In Britain, if you want to watch television, you pay the government about 170 quid a year on purpose by law, and you'll get letters if you don't do it. That money funds the BBC, a broadcaster owned by no one and everyone at the same time, which makes the programs for the whole country, whether you personally watch them or not. To an American, this seems like madness. A television channel funded collectively, not owned by a billionaire, with no advertising, and they're not trying to sell you anything or a truck or a lawyer if you have any accidents. They wouldn't know what to do with it. They'd sit there in silence between programs waiting to be sold gold or get a medical ad, and those ads would never come. Second socialist adventure here, paid time off. Wow, right? Terrifying. Here in Britain, if you have a full-time job, you are legally entitled to a minimum of 28 days of paid holiday a year. Paid, not to work, by law, whether your boss likes it or not. In America, you are legally entitled to zero. Zero. None. Nothing. Hopefully your boss is nice, but yeah. Americans getting time off, uh, it just you just have to hope and pray that you have a job that has that, and most Americans don't get that. But it also gets worse here in this socialist nightmare. If you're a woman here, you can get up to a year off if you give birth. Yeah. In America, you get maybe 2 weeks of sick pay that you have to use up. You are probably going to work far before the baby is even aware. Now, another thing here. Housing that the government builds. Oh my God, right? That's wild. Yeah, everyone is legally entitled to have housing here, and housing is built by the government and given to local councils. And that way, no matter what your income is, people can still have housing rather than live in a bin or a city of tents like most places in America. Many Brits grew up in one. Many grew up to become MPs, actors, famous artists, all because they had that safety net. Now, to an American, government housing that you can afford sounds like a policy, not like a policy, and more like the opening 5 minutes of a terrifying documentary about socialism. They would much prefer to spend $400,000 in debt for a house they can't afford and can be foreclosed. Another socialist perk, getting old. In Britain, getting old means that once you hit a certain age, the bus is free. Many places also have free prescriptions once you get to a certain age. Your medicine handed over, no card machine required, no negotiation, no coupons needed, no choosing between your medication and your dinner. In America, being old is not a perk. It is an expense. The bus still costs money. The medicine still costs as much as a house. And the general attitude that you might need to be looked after in old age is something you simply should have thought about before getting old. The other really big socialist monster here, we've talked about it 1,000 times. It is the final boss of socialism, the NHS, universal health care. This probably keeps many Americans, well, their politicians, up at night, knowing that now on the internet, people can see that other countries do have socialized healthcare and they still exist. Wow. There's no transaction, there's no bill, there's no invoice. You break your arm, you go get it fixed, and you get to leave. It's called the National Health Service here. It's funded by everybody, for everybody, and it has been quietly keeping the country alive since, 1948 now. And America, if you break your arm like we talked about earlier, you get two things. You get a cast and a bill. That's it. Here, you just get healed and you go home. Now, if you described the NHS without the name to an American, word for word, what it does, they would call it communism, and that would be the ending of their civilization as we talked about before, all while quietly wishing they had it. Let's be honest. So there are 5 socialist monsters that you have to live with in this terrible socialized country. Free healthcare, free buses if you're a certain age, houses that the government builds, even TV, even a television channel. And don't act like you don't watch Downton Abbey, Americans. You know you've been watching things from the BBC forever. That socialist channel. But the funniest part is that Americans will watch this video, get their little fingers lighting up in the comments, and be horrified by every single thing I just mentioned. And then go right back to using their fire department, socialized roads, socialized police, and praising their military. Because the only time socialism is terrifying to an American is when it has a British accent, I suppose. If you liked this video, please do me a favor and give it a like and subscribe. Also, special thanks to my members and our weekly live stream every Sunday night. I've also set up a store now if you want to check that out, as well as a Patreon where you can get access to videos not on my channel, as well as early access without ads to videos from this channel. Thanks, I'll see you in the next one.